What's a scam you fell for? When I was around 12, I really enjoyed playing FIFA Ultimate Team, which I'm sure many others do. However, the game at that point did take quite a bit of grinding to get a lot of in-game currency. So hey, let's find an in-game currency generator. So I downloaded like 7 of them on the internet, tried transferring coins to my account, and got 7 viruses. What a shocker. Shipping companies online. This could probably classify as much as a TIFU as a scam, but moved back from Ireland to Canada. Company never provided a proper packing list, first tip off, and then went bankrupt several days after picking up everything from my home. PC gaming rig with 2 monitors, PS3, games for both, book, RPG and comic collections, entire music and movie library, autographs, ticket stubs and set lists from concerts, clothes, cameras, figurines like Cloud's bike from FF7 Advent Children movie, etc. Only stuff they didn't get, which wasn't much, was what I packed up to take with me on the flight home. Edit, thanks for all kind responses, this was a tough thing to navigate and some of you actually gave me a chuckle over it. I fell for a really weird scam at my old job. It was a very small office so we all picked up the phone when the main line rang. I answered it one day and this guy told me he needed to send me a new manual for our printer, copier. I thought it was a little weird, but he insisted it was free and the only piece of information he was asking me for was the model number, so I gave it to him. He thanked me and said we'd receive the new manual in the mail shortly. We never did receive anything in the mail, but afterwards I read about the scam online. Apparently they ask you for the model number and then start shipping you tie-off brand toner and charging you insane prices for it. If the business is paying attention, they'll throw out the toner and refuse to pay for it, and no real harm is done. But plenty of offices just assume it's their regular toner, start using it and end up paying the jacked up prices to this sketchy company. I once came down with a bout of the hemorrhoids. Well, I assumed it was based on what I knew about hemorrhoid. Too embarrassed to ask friends and family for advice, I did what most people do in these circumstances, I sought medical advice from the internet. This was back in the 90s so I logged onto AOL and searched for a cure. I found a website that offered a permanent cure of hemorrhoids. The curator of this site learned this cure when he was a POW in Vietnam, and for $10 I could be hemorrhoids free forever. $10 poorer and I get the email with the cure. The cure was to stick my finger up my and twirl it around for 10 minutes a day, every day. It was then I realized I just paid someone to tell me to stick my finger up my I bought pheromone cologne in high school for like $100 because it was said to cause a chemical reaction that makes women attracted to you. It smelt awful and I never spoke to a chick while wearing it. I later found out the pheromones were taken from some type of animal urine. I was spraying piss on me and was confused why chicks weren't into me. Clicking X on a pop-up ad and end up with opening the ad instead of closing it. My mom was so close to falling for the soldier scam. She started talking to some army guy through a dating site and very quickly he got romantic and almost in love over messages. She started to really fall for him. Then he asked if she could buy phone credit for his daughter as he couldn't use his money abroad whilst he was stationed. She had no money and told him so and he got a bit weird over it. She googled this situation as something didn't sit right and discovered the popular scam of Nigerian men using photos of soldiers, setting up profiles and getting older women to part with cash. They start off small like phone credit and it escalates to life savings and all worldly possessions. When we looked over his messages after finding out, it all seemed so obvious. The messages were a bit disconnected and seemed scripted. She realized he wasn't really answering her questions or responding to specific things she had said. It seems silly now as people are so aware of these type of scams, but at the time it really wasn't that obvious. Deleted. I was working at Costco, checking receipts at the door. It's boring as Then a woman walked by with an incredibly low shirt that looked like it had been pulled down even further to where her tits were almost out. I didn't leer at her, but it certainly caught my attention, as well as my female coworker doing the same thing across from me. Didn't notice the bottle of Jack Daniels tucked in her purse. I got honey-potted skeptical smiley face. When I was young and slightly drunk, a man accosted me at the cash point and convinced me to give him £40. He said he would pay me back and gave me an address and phone number. When I returned to the cash point the next day, I realized he had Kaiser Soze, the street name, directly behind me. I did not get back the £40, although the amount of money that guy has saved me since by making me realize how innocent the first was means it's probably one of the best investments I ever made. If you tell the truth I won't get mad. Mom. I financially helped out a friend who was struggling with his hospital bills. Turns out he didn't have hospital bills but instead had a heroin addiction. Also turns out he wasn't really my friend. Skeptical smiley face. Back in the early 2000s I fell for the Russian bride scam, to a degree. I didn't send money but I did believe for a short while, a few weeks, that I was being contacted by a Russian hottie in the Ukraine or Estonia or somewhere and that she was interested in me. What killed it was that she asked me to wire a few bucks so she could pay for time at an internet cafe. I copied and pasted text from her email into Google and quickly discovered it was the first step in a larger scam where they escalate what they ask for over time, eventually asking for a few $1,000s to purchase a plane ticket to come visit the US. It was early 2000s, back when the internet was a bit more Wild West, even before Facebook was a thing. What kind of hurt my feelings about it all was that I realized that my online presence must have wreaked loneliness. I hate it and always used to fall for ads in sites you expect to download a file from, showing a download button in there as to get you to download their malware. Job interviews for contracts that didn't exist, during the bad economy in 2009. I moved recently and needed to update my driver's license. The site I was on asked for a credit card number before anything, which should have been a red flag, but I was still waking up and not alert enough, I guess. Turns out I signed up for some subscription to a driver's guide, magazine something or other without realizing it. Thankfully my credit card company quickly texted me almost immediately after, basically saying, "Hey stupid, this is probably a scam, do you want to dispute?" And fixed it right up. I was about 11 to 12 and very interested in sign language. A guy came up to me and pulled the old "I'm deaf, buy this card" con. I tried to sign "No, I'm sorry." He didn't seem to get it. I felt so bad about my signing being so terrible, I gave him my only $10. One of those drop your business card in the fishbowl things to win a free gym membership. Got called, got excited. Turns out they call everyone in the fishbowl. They waive the monthly fee, but you still have to pay a $199 enrollment fee, a monthly gym maintenance fee, and we're required to rent a locker. My free membership would have cost about $30 a month for a year. I left, tried to warn a few others that showed up to claim their prize. Insurance tracking app for driving discounts. Whoops, sorry, I stopped like a normal human, not a 192-year-old. When my ex needed $300 to bail him out of jail and that he'd pay me back. When I was 18 I had just received my debit card when I got a call saying I'd won a free Seiko watch. They would need my debit czar number for shipping. Gave it to them and got cleaned out for about $150. Luckily the bank gave me the money back. I got a job off Craigslist as an assistant. They mailed me a check that I was to cash then send to them after I take out a commission. I tried to open up a new bank account to deposit the check, but the person at the bank sat me down and tried to explain to me that it was a scam. The scam was to deposit the check in your own account, then send them the money after you take out your commission. I was trying to do it in a brand new account so they wouldn't be able to screw me over, but I mean I was 19 and young. At least I didn't do it to my own account. A car on Craigslist. A guy was stationed in the military on the other side of the country but said he'd ship the car to me. Don't know why I fell for that. This was a long time ago when Craigslist was newer, before these scams were common. The second I sent the money via a money order site, an internet hacker who had been monitoring all of the scammers' emails, called me on the phone yelling at me and begging me to reverse the transaction, and so I did after he proved that the guy was a con and that he was following our conversation. Craziest thing that's ever happened to me. Investment property in the Caribbean. Found out too late that they'd been reselling the same land and promising finished development in 3 to 5 years to everyone for the last decade plus. Still ongoing scam, they just keep changing the name of the properties. Learned never ever make a big investment while on vacation and before doing thorough research, including getting legal advice. Columbia House. Get 12 CDs for a penny, then somewhere in the fine print, you have to buy like 5 or 6 CDs at the regular price of $18 each or something. Not mine, but a professor told a story about a colleague he knew. I think this guy was from Florida and he was chatting with a model online. They eventually planned a trip to Thailand together and meet up for the first time. He checks into the hotel room when he arrives and gets a call from the girl saying that she was at the hotel waiting for him, but she got a call for a big modeling gig in Belgium, so she had to quickly leave to go over there. She asked for him to meet her there instead, and that she also forgot one of her suitcases in the hotel room and if he could bring it over for her. So he decided to bring the suitcase and fly on over to Belgium. When he got to the airport, the police found that the suitcase had been lined with a bunch of hardcore drugs. Course he did not know this. Thailand is particularly strict regarding smuggling drugs because of the Golden Triangle region. The poor dude got arrested and had to go to jail for a few years.